Namaste. Today we will be studying about the three gunas. They are very significant. It's a wonderful way of understanding our mental life. And there's a whole chapter in the Bhagavad Gita dedicated to this, Guna Traya Vibhāga Yoga. It is in order to understand our nature, our own mind. See, these gunas are characteristic of Sankhya philosophy. There you will find Prakriti is Gunamayi. She has all these three gunas. And since everything other than pure consciousness is Prakriti, everything in this universe, all people, all minds, even up to the gods, they are endowed with, or you can say, given to these three gunas. So these are in different proportions in different people. And in a very sattvic person, what are the lakshanas or what are the signs? In a very rajasic person, what are the signs? In a tamasic mind, what are the signs? All this you will find in the Bhagavad Gita. A lot of its understanding of human perception, human will, human desire, even our food habits, our lifestyle, our attitudes, our understanding and knowledge, all of this is determined by the gunas. So according to the proportion of these gunas in our system, we manifest these qualities. It's a wonderful way of understanding our own mental life and mind. So let us go into some understanding of these gunas. Lord Krishna says, Sattva Raja Tama iti guna prakriti sambhavaha nibadnanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. So in the Gunatraya Vibhāga Yoga, the Lord says that these three gunas, Sattva, Raja, Tama, they are born out of Prakriti and Nibadnanti, they bind. Dehe dehinam avyayam. They bind the indwelling soul with his body. He gets identified with the body-mind complex. It's all the work of the gunas, the play of Prakriti. Then what is the nature of these gunas? Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakamanāmayam sukha sangena badhnati jnana sangena chanagha. The nature of the sattva guna is because of its clarity. Nirmalatvat prakashakamanāmayam. It is full of light. So it is full of transparency, you can say. It is full of the light of awareness. That is why the sattvic mind will be luminous always. The sattvic thought will always be luminous. The sattvic habit will always be positive. So, due to the nature of sattva, due to its clarity, its pristine purity, and its luminous tendency, it attaches the soul, how? Through knowledge and through happiness. Sukha sangena badhnati jnana sangena chanagha. It will manufacture such a level of knowledge and happiness that can bind the soul. How can knowledge liberates, you may say. But until one plunges into Brahman, all knowledge is in a sense binding. It is giving you more freedom, but still it is a form of bondage. And happiness also is like that. By giving you higher and higher levels of happiness, sattva helps you to discriminate, to understand. But ultimately, it is also a guna. It will bind you. I remember the beautiful story given by Sri Ramakrishna of these three gunas as three robbers. So, once they robbed the story goes like this. There was one man passing through a forest, and it is said that three robbers came, and one of them actually just wanted to tie him up and go away. And another said, no, why should we do that? Let's kill him. And the third person was ready to kill him. But they left him just like that and they ran away, all three of them, after robbing him. But after some time, one of the robbers, the one who didn't want him killed, came and showed him the way back to his village. What it means to say is, sattva will show you the way back to your home, but it is still a robber. And rajas and tamas, of course, are there to bind you fast and to kill you also. So the meaning of this is all the three gunas will bind you to a certain extent, but it is always sattva that ultimately liberates. It is only we have to pass through the gate of sattva to go to the higher transcendental knowledge. Rajas and tamas. Tamas, of course, is indolence, laziness, and very low kind of mind. But rajas is about action and activity. And it will produce restlessness, attachment, all this also. But the way is from tamas to rajas and rajas to sattva. Many times people confuse sattva for tamas. This should also not happen. Vivekananda was insistent. Once you must wake up to activity and then go beyond activity. So that is how these the beautiful characteristics of these gunas are described even in the Bhagavad Gita. You see, the characteristic of rajas is described like this. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi trishna sangha samudbhavam tanni bandhati kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. Rajas is ragatmakam. It is of the nature of attachment. And trishna sangha samudbhavam. With its proximity comes desire. And sangha, attachments. And how does it bind the human soul? Karma sangena dehinam. Through action. The restlessness of our minds doesn't allow us to keep quiet. And this can act as a very great binding factor in our lives. So, sattva binds you through higher happiness and higher knowledge, and rajas binds you through action, which is impelled only by your restlessness. Tamas, the third guna, tamastu ajnanajam vidhi mohanam sarvadehinam Pramadalasya nidrabhi tannibadhnati Bhārata. What does tamas do? Ajnanajam vidhi. It is born of ignorance. And it brings about mohanam, delusion in all beings, in all embodied beings. And it produces, as a result, inadvertence. Pramad means inadvertence or oversight, lack of attention basically. So you will commit mistakes. Alasya. Alasya is laziness, listlessness. And nidrabhi. You require 12 hours of sleep, 10 hours of sleep. When the mind is filled with tamas, indolence and dullness, it blocks all light. So you require more sleep. You are more indolent, you are lazy, and you will keep making mistakes. This is the nature of tamas. Then you see how beautifully it has been entirely, comprehensively put before you. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati, raja karmani bharata, jnanamavritya tu tama pramade sanjayatyuta. So, sattva will produce sukha, the feeling of happiness. The sattvic mind will keep you happy, but rajasic mind will impel you towards action. And the tamasic mind will impel you towards ignorance and indolence. And this is how the mind, based upon what proportion of sattva it is imbued with, accordingly it will perform. If it is sattvic by nature, it will remain happy and content. If it is rajasic by nature, it will be extremely passionate and restless. And if it is tamasic, it will be indolent and lazy. Everything in our life, in fact, knowledge, food, and your lifestyle, everything is determined by the preponderance of any of these gunas. So everyone has all three gunas, but in different proportions. Which one preponderates or dominates, according to that is your nature. Then he says, Sattvat sanjayate jnanam. From sattva comes knowledge. Rajaso lobha evacha. From rajas comes greed. Pramada moha tamaso. Inadvertence and delusion come from tamas. So that is why becoming sattvic is so important. Before we aim at the higher transcendental levels of realization, achievement, one must produce a very sattvic life initially. Without that, it is impossible. That is why the Lord then says, Urdhvam gachanti sattvastha, madhye tishtanti rajasaha, jaganya gunavrittistha ado gachanti tamasaha. One who has sattva will move upward. One who has rajas dominating will stay right where he is. And one who is merely tamasic will go down to very low levels. he will have a hellish experience right here on earth, because that is the nature of tamas. So please understand, without a sattvic life, whenever we sort of don't exercise our will properly and develop the wrong sanskars, you must understand you are actually generating tamas in your system. Speaking untruths, all kinds of corrupt activities, unlawful thoughts will only generate tamas, and it will reduce us to this level. Again, if you want to rise in life, you must bring clarity into your mind, which means it filters more awareness from your being. And this kind of a mind, more knowledge, more focus in life, more attention to the right things, and sattvic habits will definitely lift our mind to the higher level. So it is in us what we choose, whether we choose to be sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. And this will affect our entire personality as well as our life, our entire life. So let us take care of this. It's a beautiful way of understanding our inner life and mental development. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.